Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the RSN podcast viewership. They say waiting brings many great things in life. Yes, we have been not here for about a month, but that's because we're building the anticipation of a 2-hour show. The first time ever in RSN history. We're giving you guys a 2-hour show tonight. Merry Christmas. That's our Christmas gift to you guys, besides watching wrestling for you fans and listening to our previous podcast, which you could catch on ProWrestlingOpinion.com, the #1 wrestling website for segment by segment, play by play updates, run by the Nick Lopez. This is the big guy Rich. We have the mastermind Sal on the other side. Say what's up to the fans, Sal.
What's up? What's up, guys? How's it going? This is the RSN Wrestling Podcast. The Shootout, the debut edition of the Shootout.
The 2-hour shootout.
Indeed, it is. For the past year, we've been doing a whole bunch of shoot edition podcasts. Basically, where we just go ahead and just spew out, talk out about what's going on in the wrestling business to keep you fans engaged. Right?
Yes, I am. As of December 17th.
Yes. Speaking of engagements, we recently found out earlier this month that someone in the RSN family got engaged.
Who?
Rich, I just gotta say.
You? No.
You.
Me.
It's you. Indeed. But I gotta say, congrats. I mean, if you go onto our social media page on Facebook, of course, there were, videos. There was a happy moment where Rich, the big guy, nervous as fuck, thinking, oh shit, oh my God, shit, what am I gonna do? You saw it in his face in the video. I suggest you look it up. It's hilarious. It's like, goddamn. And it's a very, very heartwarming moment. Congrats to both of you and Ariel. So I gotta say that. But you gotta tell us, what was the moment? What was it like for you?
I was, like you said, when it at first happened, I was nervous, but unlike certain people, of course, you don't have to incorporate wrestling somehow. Unlike certain people, I wasn't afraid to cut a promo. Even though it was a short little promo about the past, which led up to where we are now.
Yeah,
It flowed. It just flowed.
Well, let me deliver how it was basically. So, this is what I saw. The setup was, I guess,
it was supposed to be we were taking a picture, but it wasn't actually a picture.
Mm-hmm. So basically, Rich is back there. He's getting set up. He's starting to do his stuff, and you can see in his eyes, he was scared as shit. I saw this. I'm like, oh my God, this guy Rich, he's about to do it. He's about to do it. And then next thing you know, we're all talking. And then Rich starts coming out and saying, let's do a picture. And then, relatives are talking and everything. And then out of nowhere, he's just talking. It's been a while. This has been a while. And then he cuts a big promo, which catches her attention. She's like, what the fuck are you about to do? Got a promo on me? So then he goes and looks at her and says, you and me have been in a whole summary, basically. And it's like, holy shit. Next thing you know, he delivers the big, what should I say, the spot. Let's put this in wrestling terms. He delivers the big, what should I say? The big spot. Basically, the spot, the oh shit moment. So basically, leaves it. The OMG moment. Will you marry? She goes ahead, marks the hell out, like, oh my fucking God. It was like Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon watching Roman Reigns in a hot shower, basically. That's messed up. I take that back.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want that comparison. Give me
basically,
something
basically, it's Kevin Dunn marking out over HBK coming back, winning the WWE title in his biggest, most
in the elimination chamber.
No. Here's another one. I got an idea.
Oh,
he goes ahead.
Okay, here's the best one. It's like all the fans' reaction when Seth Rollins cashed the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania.
Yep, I say that.
Or the Dolph Ziggler one. Either one, I'll take.
Mm-hmm. Or Kevin Dunn finally getting that Emmy that he really wanted, but never gonna happen. So,
But as of December 17th, I am officially engaged.
and congrats to you from us, the Arson family, wrestling family, to you. Many congrats. Very happy for you. We shared it on the page. Be sure to check it out. It's a good moment to see. Of course, the WWE has this thing with cage rulers and stuff where they go to a ring and all this bull crap. Fuck that. This is,
I did
of
in
course,
front of I did in front of family.
you did it in front of family, and I mean, believe me, it's anybody can say whatever the hell they want, but they did it in front of a crowd, etc., etc. Did it at WrestleMania. When you do it in front of your family, that's what's important, of course. When you're
Family's
around
better. Family's better than a crowd of wrestling fans to do in
indeed
front of.
it is. Yes, indeed it is, and that's a fact. I mean, it's a good moment. Like we said, many congrats to both of you. But I mean, it's surreal, of course. But speaking of surreal, last podcast we did was what, almost 2 weeks ago?
No, longer, a month almost.
Almost a month ago. Holy crap!
Before Thanksgiving, I think was the last one.
Oh, right. I see. So this is probably before Roadblock.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was pre-Roadblock.
Pre-Roadblock. So I mean, of course so probably today the first.
You know where the fans could check to see where our last podcast was?
Indeed, yes, I know. But actually, we'll
Besides,
hold off. No, we'll actually hold off on that because we're also going to do another big reveal later on today.
Well, I was going to say they could check the Twitter page.
Yep.
Which is at
right.
RSN Podcast.
Definitely. They can always check the Twitter page. That's one thing. RSN Podcast.
They could check our YouTube page.
Mm-hmm.
They check our Facebook page. I don't know the link.
Yeah, there's no actual link. It's just you search out RSN at RSN Podcast or RSN Podcast. You'll see it right there.
You could check our Facebook page.
Yep. By the way, here's an interesting note. Our YouTube page has reached officially 1,500 views.
Congrats to us. We're making big moves.
Indeed, we're making big moves. Like we said, the door of world of wrestling podcasting is out there.
We're not knocking.
And you know what we're doing?
You know what we're doing?
We're not. You know what we're doing? But you know what we're doing?
We're kicking that motherfucker in.
We're kicking that motherfucker down. Okay, that's what's happening. Like we said, this is a podcast. We're continuing to grow. We're doing more and more. Like I said, I'm gonna hold off on what's gonna happen later on with the site that you might be talking about. That's run by
I believe so.
Yes. So we'll get to that later because there's another big reveal for that as well coming up. But basically, the purpose of this podcast is one, we want to follow up on basically what's happening throughout the whole year.
Because
give you some updates.
We also want to do it because it's been a month, and I know our fans have been patiently waiting.
Indeed, it has. And like I said, we have that big promo video that we talked about, all that stuff going on. And believe me, there is a lot more coming in 2017.
Oh, there's a lot.
Indeed. I mean, for one, we can say this: the Legend podcast is coming, so that's for sure. That's a guarantee.
Then we have the RSN Podcast Awards.
The RSN Podcast Awards, or the year end in review podcast, basically.
Whichever one, doesn't matter.
Either one. Yeah, I mean, we might change it. You never know. But basically, it's like a recap of the whole year. Where we talk about what's going on, everything in the whole year.
It's basically kind of like the Slammies, but we're better than the Slammies.
Indeed, and interesting note, they didn't have the Slammies this year, or rumored to be. But again, we'll get to that later. But
guess what? Guess what? We're better than the Slammies.
Indeed, we are. Yes.
Would you rather, if you were a wrestler, would you rather get a Slammy or an RSN Podcast Award? I would take the RSN Podcast Award.
I take that for sure. Indeed. Well, here's one thing: here at RSN Podcast, we don't just talk about RSN Wrestling Podcast. We don't talk about one specific, company, like in WWE where they're limited. We talk about all companies, about all.
We talk about WWE. We talk about NXT. We talk about TNA. We talk about ROH, New Japan, West Coast Wrestling Connection, America's Most Liked Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you name it. And like I said, there's so many matches that have happened this year.
One question for you. I know we said we're gonna hold out, but this is like the perfect time because we just named other companies.
Yep.
Do you know I hear there's a site where they could catch all coverage of those companies we just named.
Yes.
Would you mind telling them what the name of that website is?
Oh, definitely it is. Yes, yes. It's called Pro Wrestling Opinion. Pro Wrestling Opinion, run by the Nick Lopez.
There are many Nick Lopez's
Yes.
in the world,
Yep,
but there's
that's
only
true.
one, the Nick Lopez.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, well, here's one thing too. We're gonna have him later on tonight, talking about what's going on,
Yes,
everything.
we forgot to tell the fans. This is the
Yeah.
first time in a long time
Hmm.
that you will catch Rich, Sal,
Hmm.
and Nick together again.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, well, here's one thing. We're gonna have the year end in review podcast. We're gonna have the Legends podcast. We also are gonna have basically it's a wrestling video game podcast. So for all you wrestling video game fans out there, so it's gonna be
Which you
talking
know
about.
there's a lot.
Yep, you know how many video games there is. A lot of video games. So we brought a couple more people in, and we're probably gonna do some of that, and I guess in the near future. But like I
Probably
said,
in a couple weeks.
yeah, probably in a couple weeks we'll see. But like
It
I
was
said, moving
supposed to
on.
be tonight, but one of the guys, Rob, he got called in to work on an emergency,
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah,
know what happened with Manny.
yeah, Manny. Of course, he said he had a friend, coming in from Dallas, so you have to go over there and this that.
That's
And
fine.
that's all right. Like I said, we're trying to offer more and more options. Like I said, we're continuing to grow, and we're gonna continue that. We're not stopping. So just know
We're
that
also trying to pull professional wrestlers in too, but that's going to take some time to actually pull them
that's
in.
always gonna be there. So any wrestlers out there that wanna try to get their voice heard, come through the Arsenal Wrestling Podcast. But nonetheless, I mean, moving on, we can talk about probably I say from roadblock, post roadblock, all the way down to
Now,
I say now, yeah, exactly. So I mean, let's say the post roadblock Raw. Uh, basically Roadblock was, I mean, it was a stellar show, I guess, right? Wouldn't you say?
it had its moments.
It was,
Wait, was
it
that a
was,
Raw show?
yep. Well, I mean, well,
Eh,
let's talk. Yeah, I mean, let's.
you could even vouch for this since the draft. Some of the Raw pay per views have been
Yeah, it's been. Let's talk about Raw and SmackDown. Basically, I mean, I think SmackDown's done a better job when it comes to all the pay per views now.
Team Blue, Team Blue all the way.
Team Blue all the way, indeed. Right now, I mean, they're kicking it. They're killing everything. They got the best stars
Here,
right now.
I'm gonna give you some numbers, like the viewerships,
Mhm.
because
Yep.
as a wrestling fan, you grew up in the Attitude Era. You watched friggin' Monday Night Wars with Nitro and Raw.
Right.
So since then, it's been numbers for some fans.
Yep.
Okay. SmackDown Live from Tuesday.
Mhm.
2.885 million viewers
Million viewers, right?
compared to Raw, 1.968 million.
Yeah, they're down. They're down. I think in a couple of hours they were down, right? I think like
Yeah.
in the third hour, it's been consecutive. Where in the past 2-3 weeks, they've had the ratings go down in the third hour, which is bad.
In the past couple weeks, SmackDown has averaged 2.768 million viewers.
Hmm.
That's their average.
Yep.
So they're pulling almost 2.8 million viewers every week.
Hmm.
And this is for a show that didn't have many outstanding draft picks
Hmm.
on draft night.
Yep.
Because when the draft happened, every fan was probably like, oh no, Raw got all the best picks. They got Seth Rollins first. They got Kevin Owens. They got Roman Reigns.
Hmm.
SmackDown, boom.
Yeah.
We'll take AJ Styles. We'll take Dean Ambrose. We'll take Bray Wyatt. We'll take Randy Orton. We'll take Becky Lynch as the first women's pick in like round 7 or something. Raw gets Sasha Banks and Charlotte back to back.
Yep.
They get Finn Balor.
All the top stars. So here's the position. Vince is clamoring with his hands, saying, "Oh my God, we're gonna be able to kick SmackDown's ass. They're the number B brand. We're gonna kill it. We're gonna offer the best entertainment, da da da, etc. etc." Here's the problem: their storylines are a piece of shit. Wouldn't you say that?
Because Kevin Dunn is the writer.
Yeah, we can say that. I mean, definitely. I mean, but I think it's also Vince too. Vince. I mean, here's the thing.
Do you know who's running
Vince,
for SmackDown?
who?
Paul.
Paul Heyman?
Yes. That's
Really?
why SmackDown is better.
You sure?
That's what I've been hearing. The past couple weeks has been Paul Heyman writing.
I doubt it. I mean, I'm hearing that they want him to sign up to be a writer, but he's kind of like, no,
They want him
you know,
to
I'm
be
not.
they want him to be head writer.
Yep. I'm hearing that Shane McMahon has a lot of involvement in what's going on in SmackDown right now.
Oh, Shane loves it.
He's doing a lot. Like he's all hands on deck on that. I mean, of course, Vince is always on there too, but Shane is the
He's
one
had
that's
what,
always fighting.
2 fights since the draft?
Yep.
Yeah, since
But
the draft, I think he fought twice.
yeah, he's been doing pretty good though. No lie. I mean, he's doing pretty good as a role. Like as
Well,
a performer.
you know who Shane's high on, right?
Yeah, I've heard.
Alpha. He's high on Alpha.
Yeah, he likes him. He really
Oh,
likes him.
wait.
I
Let
think.
me rephrase that. The new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, American
Yep.
Alpha.
Yep.
Who called that? I
Well, how
called
about
that
this?
from since the draft.
Well, here's the thing. So let's say, Roadblock. Roadblock happened. Of course, we had, speaking of tag titles, Cesaro and Sheamus won the world tag title, won the WWE tag titles.
Was that
Unpredictable.
Roadblock?
Yeah, Roadblock. Yes, it was.
Wow, it's been that long.
Yep, it's crazy. It's like wow, this is up. I think the 18th. The after the Fallout show, and during the Fallout show, they had of course that tag team kind of thing, but of course, I think the previous pay-per-view before that, I think TLC was it? Yeah,
Yes.
TLC. Um, it was what do you call it? The tag titles change hand with the Wyatt family won the titles, I believe, right? From
Uh-huh.
Ryder and Slater,
Yeah.
and then of course Bliss won the world title, won the women's title.
Which I was very happy.
I was happy with that. It was like, all right, she deserved it. I hated her from the beginning, but I think that she's developed now. She's
I
starting.
loved her since friggin' NXT.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you always said that. But I mean, I'm starting to like one, she's a really good heel. She's able to play that role.
Oh, she
And
plays Harley Quinn perfect.
Well, here's the thing, Carmella. I don't
I'm
know what's going
fucking
on with
sick
her.
of her.
They can't make her a heel. I don't know who made that smart decision of making her a heel. It makes no sense. It puts no merit to anything. It makes no sense at all. Like I understand what they're trying to do.
To be honest, she's irrelevant.
It's now they're making her irrelevant. Yeah, I mean, look at Tyler Breeze. Have you heard of Tyler Breeze in the past 3 months?
Besides the friggin' fashion police.
Yeah, I mean that's like, come on, this guy was a top star in NXT. Now he's degraded to being a sub mid card player?
You can't even say that. Probably low mid.
Yeah, it's like, come on,
Low card.
it's messed up. I mean, you have Apollo Cruz on the side, who has this whole thing with Miz. Repeatedly, they kept doing things,
It's
and
not
then
even him now. It's Dean Ambrose.
yeah, now Dean Ambrose too. It's like, come on, you guys are. I mean, I understand what SmackDown's trying to do. They're trying to build stars, but it's also like, why strip
Just
them
so
down?
much you can do, though.
Yeah, so much that you can do. Well, let's talk about after that what happened. Let's say, so of course Orton turned. He's now with the Wyatt family, et cetera, like that. And the next thing you know, what was it? This is after, I say, the week after Roadblock. They started airing. They started having this whole thing with was it Roman and Roman and Owens. They keep going on with that feud, and basically it's announced that due to interference, Chris Jericho is now in a shark cage, right? And it's what is it? It's Roman versus Chris Jericho. I mean, no, I'm sorry, Roman versus Owens for the belt at Royal Rumble, which is kind of like, okay, you really want to see that for a third time, and I think everybody was just hoping to have him come back, like uh basically have a whole thing with a triple threat, or have Seth Rollins in some kind of way where he's in the match, but I guess it didn't happen.
I don't know, but I'm very high on Seth.
Well, Seth, I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna have him go straight into Royal Rumble and feud with Triple H. I think they're adamant on that. They want to stick with that.
Yeah, because he's been calling out Triple H for like almost a month now.
And now when you see him, it's gonna be like, holy shit, this guy came. But it's like, All right, we'll have to see how that works. But well, how about this then? Then we had, of course, the women's title match, Roadblock night. Last woman standing, and who walked out?
Charlotte
Uh,
again.
Charlotte again. I mean, I'm thinking this whole back-to-back hot potato with the title is actually helping the division because one, you're establishing history with the belt. That's one thing.
But it's
I
just
mean,
annoying flip flopping the title.
that's true. I mean, you can say the same thing about the tag titles. You can say the same thing about the women's title. You can say the same on SmackDown. You can say the same thing about pretty much almost any world title, any title that's there right now.
But the
The
whole
cruiserweight title.
yeah, but the thing is, the Raw Women's title, it's been Charlotte, Sasha, Charlotte, Sasha, Charlotte, Sasha, Charlotte. You're not seeing any title on SmackDown getting flip flop between two competitors.
Yep. But I think it's produced good matches from both of them and the best performances. I mean, it's kind of messed up because you have one feud that hogs the belt, and basically no one else gets an opportunity.
Well,
But it's also good
as
because
of the last couple weeks, it's been Bailey going for it.
yeah, now of course Bailey's in the scene now, so Sasha Banks got attacked
Now
by
she's going
Nia
after
Jax.
Nia.
Yep. And then of course I think they're gonna have this kind of angle where Sasha got injured because of Nia. Nia goes ahead and says, "You know what? Fuck you. You don't deserve it." And the next thing you know, Sasha and Nia go at it. And I guess that'll set up her comeback. But it's kind of like they had these historic matches. First, the I think they had what's it, the ladder match? No, they didn't have a ladder match, did they?
No, not yet.
That'll probably happen soon. I know they had so many historic matches. Falls Count Anywhere match. They had a
Which I thought was a great finish, by the way.
yeah, last man, what you call the Iron Man match. That was great too.
It had its moments where it could have been better.
Yeah, but I think that this it's kind of historic because this is the first time we've seen women take the spotlight, and they've highlighted Raw how many times as a main event?
Plenty.
Too many to count, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, it's like it's kind of good, but it's also kind of okay. We need some change, but we'll have to
Don't
see.
get me wrong,
And that
the
might be a
first
reason.
one was amazing.
Yep.
The first time they headlined Raw, then the other time with the False Count Anywhere.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I love the feud and all that, but there's only so much you could do.
Yep, that's true. But I mean, we'll have to see from here what the plan is. I guess they're trying to target now for Bailey versus Charlotte. I mean, it was an interesting bit too. The night after, what you call it, the New Day lost their belts to Cesaro and Sheamus.
Finally,
Yeah, and then, well, actually, yeah, we were sick of and tired of it. 488 days. I was like, come on, we gotta end it. And when it finally ended, it was kind of sad, but it was like, all right, it has to happen. But then, they come out. Biggie says, "Oh, we lost the world tag titles. Speaking of titles, you know, they say like Ric Flair said,
oh yeah,
you can only
Ric
become
Flair. Ric Flair may have won the title 16 times, but that means he lost it 15 times. But then,
and
did you hear that
Biggie's
little
like,
dig?
yeah."
Oh, that'll be Charlotte in a month.
And everybody just went, "Holy shit, that's crazy."
I'm
And
not
I
gonna
think
lie, that was funny.
that was funny indeed. That was organic too. But of course, higher ups are kind of mad about that. Like, you shouldn't be saying that. Fuck you. Let them say what the fuck they want. It's fucking hilarious. But
But
it was like, come
is he
on.
wrong though?
I
That's
don't,
the thing. Is he wrong though?
he isn't wrong. No, not at all. That's true. It's completely true. And I guess and I think that's what people want to hear. It's funny because when
Sometimes
they
the
see
truth
that,
hurts.
yep, it does hurt indeed. And then of course you had Brock, basically that whole development. They keep teasing one another. Oh, we announced we're in the Royal Rumble. Okay, that's not the Royal Rumble. Okay, but are you doing anything in Raw? Pretty much, you're not doing nothing right now. And then there's this whole teaser.
Goldberg's going to be in the Raw next week.
Yeah, he's going to be on Raw next week, and then supposedly that's going to open up something. We'll have to see from there. And then of course,
well, from what I'm hearing, Goldberg and Lesnar will be 1 and 2 in the Rumble.
Yeah, that's really 1 and 2.
That's what I heard.
That's interesting. That's true. Unless if they're doing that, that means they have a lot more surprises afterwards. So
well, have my predictions been wrong though?
No, I don't think no, it hasn't. love to see though. We'll see. I mean, it's kind of interesting because it's kind of well, we're gonna talk about the Royal Rumble after this too. But how about this? Let me ask you this: don't you see like a parallel, like kind of like you see the same things happening on Raw and SmackDown? For example, with Baron Corbin, he's attacking people. He's pushed himself into the spotlight.
Bro,
And
just remember, he started that.
Yep. And then on the other side, you got Braun Strowman getting mad because Sami Zayn beat him in 10 minutes. And then it was like, okay, I'm the big fat, giant that wants to, beat people up and shit and kill jobbers, and I'm fucking unstoppable. And then the next thing you know, he starts attacking main eventers. Don't you see some kind of connection there?
Yeah, SmackDown did it first.
Yeah, that's true. See, they're trying to rip him off. And I think it's kind of like, okay, it kind of makes sense because you have Braun Strowman, who Vince and Kevin Dunn and everyone else is very, very high on, saying, oh, he's a big star.
Wait, so,
he's gonna be big.
So you're saying they're moving on from Roman Reigns?
It looks like it. And I hope it's true. Because here's another rumor I heard. They don't have any plans for Roman Pennsylvania for Mania at all.
Well,
It seems like the focus has shifted straight to Braun now. Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin on SmackDown.
Well, the one thing I would love to see, which every wrestling fan wanted to see for the past 2 years, the Shield triple threat.
Yeah, I mean, well, that brings up another thing too.
Everyone wants to see Roman versus Seth versus Dean.
Yep, and I mean, here's the thing now. So Dean, Roman, and Seth are all face now. So of course, that's always going to ask questions. Are they going to unite? Are they going to bring it back? Is it going to happen? When's it going to happen? How's it going to happen?
Well, 2 out of 3 are actually getting face reactions.
Yep, that's true. 2 out of 3 are getting face reactions, but of course, one of them.
They're all technically face.
Yep. Well, here's one thing with let's say, well, I mean, look at Roman for example. Roman and The Miz as the champions for their respective brands, mid-card title holders. Who do you think is the better champion?
Without a doubt, Miz.
Miz, right? I mean, well, here's one thing. Here's the thing. If you ask me that, I'd say 9 months ago, before the draft, before anything, I would have said no. You're out of your mind. I say Roman first because Miz. I was like, you know what? He's not much of a player. He's not. He's just a reality world star. He's just a fucking actor. He has no talent. Whatever. But I gotta say, I gotta admit, he's actually improved a lot in his performance now.
Say one thing though?
What?
I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked my fiance. Who are the top 3 heels in WWE right now? If you go by reaction, like who would you say is the top 3?
That's hard to say. I'd say.
Me and her both said the same 3, just in different orders.
Really?
My number
I'd
one.
Say first is Miz, right?
My number 1 is Miz. 2, Kevin Owens. 3, Jericho.
Well, Owens got a face reaction, and Jericho, of course, yeah, he's gonna be heel for sure.
But if you go by like top heel wise, those are the top 3. Her top 3 was Owens 1, Miz 2, Jericho 3. So we just switched to 1 and 2.
Yep, that's true. I mean, how about Jericho? Jericho, I think this whole list thing is doing very good. Like it's just like how Matt Hardy.
I love the list of Jericho.
Hilarious. And what's really stupid is I think what's really.
You know what? If you don't like the RSN podcast, you just made the list.
You just made the list. Shout out to Chris Jericho and his podcast. We love you, Jericho.
Talking Jericho, love it. Listen to it every fucking day.
We here at RSN Podcast love that shit. So, look it up. But I mean,
hey Jericho, maybe you could put us on the show one day.
Maybe we can collaborate. What do you think, huh? You can get the gift of RSN. Drink it in.
Drink it in, man. Hopefully we don't make the list.
Hopefully we don't. I mean, I hope we're not on the list. I really hope. But
I hope we make the good Jericho list.
I hope we do. Yeah. Well, here's one thing. I think I like what I think is killing Jericho right now is the fact that he's not. He keeps on siding with Owens. I just want to see him turn on him for 1 second.
Well, from what I'm hearing for Mania, they want to do that match.
I hope it does happen. 2 Canadians. That's really pretty historic. Then the first time 2 Canadians are headlining Mania for the belt.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be for the belt. They said though. They said they want to try and get Jericho versus Owens because from what I'm hearing, which my sources are like perfect, usually like 99% of the time they're perfect. They're gonna have Jericho cost Owens the title in a match against Seth.
They have to. I mean, it's come to a point where they need to. I think it's just
And if they do that, then maybe you get a triple threat match at Mania for
it might.
Jericho, not Jericho, Rollins, Roman, and Dean.
Hopefully, I mean, well, we're gonna get to that too. I think I mean, one thing, of course, at this time, pretty much this is the unofficial season for WrestleMania.
Oh,
because
to be honest,
everything
it
is
started already. The
Yeah, it started. I
unofficial
think.
Mania season started. What do we say? Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I think that's when we said it starts.
Yep.
Like post Survivor Series.
Yep.
Usually?
This is pretty much the build to WrestleMania because everything else gets penciled in starting now and it follows through later on. But let me ask you this then. So I mean, of course, we got Raw and SmackDown doing their things. They got the World Tag Title divisions and everything. Of course, after the Wyatts won the titles, they lost it to American Alpha recently.
Which I called, by the way.
Well, I mean, that's what I think. The SmackDown titles were recently made. They have to build some history, so it's got to have this hot potato thing going on right now. I understand that, and it's good for them too. Because if you think about it, they started NXT, won the tag titles, and then they went into the main roster, won the SmackDown tag titles.
Well,
So,
just throwing it out there, not trying to like toot Martin, but I called it like was it right when the draft happened? I'm like, give Alpha 6 months after the draft, they're gonna win the titles.
And they did, yeah, that's true.
And it's been about 6 months.
Yeah, it has. It has. It's just,
I should be a fucking writer for WWE. Raw might actually be so much better if I write for it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, what they should do is take out Dunn and hire one of us for sure.
Hire all three of us, me, you, and Nick.
They should definitely. But I guess WWE they're obviously looking for people that.
Well, actually, me and you could write for the shows.
Yep.
And Nick could write for WWE.com as like the reviews, like the word by word results for the fans.
Or he'd be the Joey Styles of WWE.
No, because Joey Styles got fired from
Right.
House of Glory.
That's true. I've seen that.
No, from Evolve. Sorry, Evolve.
From Evolve. Right.
He said something which should not have been said at Evolve 67.
Yep. Well, I mean, well, here's one thing too. Of course, many things happen in the indie world too, in the indie wrestling world. Of course, TNA had total nonstop deletion.
Before we do that, can I just mention one thing?
Yep.
About since we're talking about like not really the indies, but like non WWE.
Yep.
Shout out to Cody Rhodes, newest leader of the Bullet Club.
Oh yes, and you were the one to call that, I think.
Oh yeah. My sources have been perfect so far with
you're like the Nostradamus of WWE
of professional wrestling.
You're now Nostradamus of wrestling podcast. That's what we should name you as.
My predictions have been perfect so far.
Yep, and they're on point, so I can tell you that. But I mean,
just didn't think they would make him the leader this quick, though. I thought they were going to make him
the leader. He's a leader or he's a member?
No, he's a leader.
That's crazy.
Like remember how they had Prince Devitt and Carl Anderson as the leader, like the co-leaders.
Right.
Then it was Carl Anderson and AJ Styles.
Yep.
Then it was AJ Styles and Kenny Omega. And now it's Kenny Omega and Adam Cole.
Well, I feel like it's always
now
one
it's Kenny Omega. Now it's Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, and Cody Rhodes. So there's three leaders.
Well, I think it's kind of like they can go ahead and say who's going to be the leader, but it always comes down to who delivers the best performance. That is the leader.
Well, the reason why they're doing three leaders right now is because, again, my sources have told me, as of mid-January, Kenny Omega's contract is up with New Japan and Ring of Honor. And what's at the end of January?
Well, before we get into that.
Oh, and Cole's
January 4th.
Cole's contract ends February 5th. and he's not taking any bookings
Yeah, that's
after
true.
February. He said,
Yeah, that's true.
and
Well,
my
let me.
predictions
Well,
have
let
been
me.
my predictions from about a month ago also said Omega and Cole to WWE.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
let's see with that.
I mean, there's so many rumors going around with the whole signings and everything. WWE trying to raid.
Especially this is usually when all those big rumors happen, right?
That's true. Right
That's
before I was gonna say
right before Rumble.
Wrestle Kingdom. No, before the Wrestle Kingdom, and also Royal Rumble too. But Wrestle Kingdom 11's coming up, and of course that's
It's
always
already
a
up
big.
to 11.
Yeah,
Wow,
what's 11? Yeah, it's pretty
wow.
crazy.
It's been. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, I've been thinking that I'm like, holy shit, it's a long ass time, like already. Holy crap.
Would you consider Wrestle Kingdom New Japan's WrestleMania? Because this is like their biggest event,
Hands
right?
down, hands down. It's one of their biggest shows. I gotta
This is
say,
like their big event, right?
it is. And I gotta say, they actually just stepped their game up with this. Like, it's like, they
Since
have to go.
the last 2 years, their Wrestle Kingdom has been like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they should just. I mean, like what I've been looking at, I've been looking into the like New Japan Pro Wrestling because right now I got Sling, so like I get access to Access TV, so I can literally see what's going on, everything in the matches and everything like that. Of course, recently they had Okada and Kenny Omega have this little promo deal going on,
That's going.
and then what do you do?
That actual matches happen at Wrestle Kingdom, right?
Yeah, it's gonna happen, and I think hands down think that Omega's gonna win the title for sure. It's gonna happen.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
This is like going to be a year in advance, though.
Yeah.
Do you say that could possibly be Match of the Year candidate for our 2017 awards?
It's hard to say because I know one thing. I know my match of the year. I don't know if it's different from yours.
Oh,
Is
no, I'm talking about for next year since this is happening in January.
we'll have
Because
to see.
those two names put on 5-star matches, Omega and Okada.
Well, here's one thing. They haven't fought each other. That's what's really crazy. They have never fought each other.
They have, but it was a tag team match.
Oh, really? Oh, so I see.
So I don't count. It was a 6-man tag.
Really? I mean, but I never seen them one-on-one face off. Like that's never happened.
This is their first one-on-one match. But
So
they
I
have
mean,
fought each other in tag team matches.
yeah. I mean, we'll have to see from there if it's gonna be a big show. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a big show.
Just by watching Omega matches and Okada matches from ROH,
yeah,
it's gonna be a fucking all-out brawl.
I think the build. I think the build is pretty good too. I mean, Okada he doesn't have that much of a what do you call it? He's a favorite in Japan, but I think that it's just his promo skills. That's gold right there. Like
the Rainmaker.
Rainmaker. Well, no. I think Kenny Omega's promos are dope.
Oh, I love Omega promos.
He's been getting better and better. Every time he says goodbye and good night, the crowds catch onto him. It's crazy. The crowd cheers for him or whatever like that. In regular WWE ring, it'll be like, okay, if people chant for Kevin Owens, he'll just ride along with it and just keep ignoring them and just go straight into it. Kenny Omega does the opposite. He acknowledges that shit and he says, no, don't fucking cheer for me. You guys are cheering for Naito. Now cheer for Naito, not for me. Like that's got to be something there. It's like, come on, this guy has all the freedom to shoot wherever he wants, and he does it. And
he fucking fought a 9-year-old girl.
Yeah, and
he fought a 9-year-old girl. Who else could do that?
And that's what's crazy. He went from fighting a 9-year-old girl to fighting a mop to fighting a doll or whatever to being what you call it the G1 champ, the G1 G1 Grand Champion,
the G1 Grand Prix champ.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. That's it's pretty big deal.
I follow him on Twitter, which is fucking amazing. His tweets are perfect.
Yeah.
He said he's done everything in IWGP except for one thing, which he wants to do. And he said it will happen in January. He is going to become the IWGP G1 heavyweight champ, which basically is saying he's beating Okada.
And he also made history. He became the first Canadian star to win the Grand Prix, which has never happened before.
Yeah, because it started after Owens left.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's one thing. He's won. I think. Well, AJ did it. Omega did it. Hiroshi did it, and they all won the belt.
Prince Devitt did it.
Devitt did it all the time, and it's crazy. These guys won, and later on became champions.
You know what's funny?
What?
Who were the first two that you said?
Was it Hiroshi and AJ?
You said AJ.
Yep.
And Omega.
Omega, yeah.
And who did I say also?
Said yeah, Devitt.
What's the one thing that they all have in common?
They're all Bullet Club, right?
They were all leaders of the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
And I know you said we're going to talk about this later, but Omega said he's going to be WWE bound. So that means 3 former Bullet Club leaders
Mhm.
win the Grand Prix,
Mhm.
win the IWGP Heavyweight title,
Yep.
win the IWGP Light Heavyweight title, and they're going to go to the big show.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's one thing too.
Do you see a little trend happening?
Yeah. I'm starting to see it too. Yeah. I think that's basically. Well, I think for sure. I mean, as far as if the Young Bucks and Omega are gonna sign for WWE,
Well, the Bucks are signed to
I don't know.
2019 with ROH, so they're not going anywhere.
But that can always change. You never know. I mean, for example, Ricochet. We haven't seen him for a while. Where's he going now?
He's NXT bound.
He's NXT bound. So it's kind of like where's it gonna happen now? Here's another thing.
Possibly an Royal Rumble surprise entry. Never know.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing. Here's a big rumor that I heard recently that came out.
I probably heard it too. Let's see.
We're gonna talk about Royal Rumble. I mean, of course, this is a time to get very excited for Royal Rumble because we're about a month away. So of course, there's no way.
This is like you said. Also, this is when all the rumors start. People coming back.
This is the main point.
Surprise entries.
If you're a wrestling fan, this is the moment that you've been waiting for because it's interesting.
Okay, but basically, a way to describe it for people who aren't wrestling fans that are watching and listening to our show now.
Yep.
This one time between end of November
Yep.
to the end of January. This is when the big rumors start, such as the rumors for Walking Dead, all those shows that you guys watch.
Yep.
And then from the end of January until the end of March, beginning of April, is when wrestling fans live, because that's WrestleMania. That's the official WrestleMania season.
Yep, it
but
is.
for the real wrestling fans, or as Kevin Dunn says it, you vanilla internet marks.
Yeah.
Our WrestleMania season starts Survivor Series, which is the end of November, until the end of March, beginning of April.
Yep.
That's for the real fans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's one thing too. Right now, the biggest rumor right now.
I just had to
Indie Stars.
I just had to break it down for you or new wrestling fans.
Of course, yeah, we have to. I mean, of course, there's always people watching that haven't watched wrestling, but and you're interested in finding out what RSN Wrestling Podcast is. So, again, we welcome you to the show.
We like to educate people.
Just don't be a Kevin Dunn. Just don't be an Eva Marie, and just don't be a Roman fan.
We basically like to educate fans who are just learning.
That's true. I mean, here's a big rumor that I heard. Kurt Angle, he isn't taking any more bookings anymore, and supposedly he's telling promoters that he's WWE bound too.
Which, if you are an old school wrestling fan, such as myself, Sal, Nick, Manny, who will be in a future podcast, and Rob, who will be in a future podcast, you can see the comparison of American Alpha to the world's greatest tag team, which is a team that consisted of Shelton Benjamin, who is also supposed to be coming back for the Rumble, by the way. Just a little side note there.
Well, here's another thing. Finn Balor.
Haas.
Yeah, he's injuries too. Who's on the injured list right now? Finn Balor.
Who is actually way ahead of schedule, they said.
Yep.
Which I hope is true, but at the same time I don't, because I don't want him to have the John Cena effect, where he comes back before time and gets hurt.
That's true. I mean, well, here's one thing too. I noticed that, of course, we talked about wrestling. Of course, it's going to be one of the biggest things right now, Royal Rumble. So, I mean, so many things that we can talk about, of course, but this
is the biggest rumor time of WWE.
Yep, it's the biggest. It's a rumor. The rumor mill starts here, and
it fucking started already.
It started, yeah.
And as the mole of RSN podcast, since I get all the rumors, my fucking rumor mill has been spinning nonstop since November.
Yep.
Since before November.
Yep, that's true. That's true. I mean, here's one thing too. I think that here's one. Let's think about this then. So of course they have Raw and SmackDown separate brands. WrestleMania's coming up. Royal Rumble's coming up. What do you think the stipulation is gonna be for the Royal Rumble? Because right now it's separate brands, right? Are they gonna go back to that where it's like, okay, the winner gets to pick which title he can go for, or is it gonna be okay, that person that wins and whoever brand they're in, that's the title they're gonna go for? How do you think?
I would love, to be honest, I would love to see the winner pick whatever show they want to go.
Yeah. I think it's good because for 2-3 weeks they get to go ahead and build that. They get to go ahead and talk that. That'll be a ratings booster for sure. If they just said, okay,
when just say Finn the contract, the Rumble.
Yep.
How long do you think it's going to be before the person actually announces where they want to go?
probably about a week.
You think so?
Yeah, because here's one thing. They already announced I think Elimination Chamber and another pay-per-view, right? For Raw and SmackDown.
I think it was just Chamber. They said so far.
Okay, so it's a fact that they're gonna have the Elimination Chamber. So it seems like one brand is not gonna have a guaranteed main event, meaning that it's like okay, meaning that's kind of wishy-washy about which brand that's gonna be. But I think they said Elimination Chamber is a Raw pay-per-view or a SmackDown pay-per-view.
It's a co-pay-per-view.
Was it called pay-per-view?
Yes, it's going to be both.
That's
They're probably
interesting.
going to have one of each.
Yeah, I mean, well, look if you look in previous years, No Way Out 2005, I think it was 2004. It was Bradshaw versus Big Show. Who came out? Batista came out in the middle of a match. There was speculation of who he's gonna face, etc. etc. They don't know who. Next thing you know, he beats up JBL, lays him out. Cena comes out and says, "What the fuck are you doing? Da da da. This is my guy. Da da da." And then the next night on Raw, basically it was revealed. Triple H faces Batista. He does a big famous thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down, boom, and that's it.
I loved it.
That was dope. That skyrocketed his career, of course. And then next thing you know, 5-6 Mania won the belts simultaneously. Whatever happened, and that's like that. And then if you look at, for example,
what year did he quit? Did he have the famous breakdown?
Batista or
Batista when he was in the wheelchair.
I think 2010.
Was it?
Yeah, 2010.
That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
I fucking left my ass off when that happened. I'm like, really?
Yeah, and then he came back in 2014. Of course, had that whole.
Don't bring that up.
Yeah. Oh my god. In 2015, I don't even want to talk about it. Oh my god. Of all times, when did Rey Mysterio start getting booed? It's kind of crazy. Like, when did that happen? It's surreal. And then of course we had what was it?
Question.
Yeah.
Since you're more of a Lucha fan than me, and
Yeah. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Lucha, so we gotta talk about.
Read up once in a while.
Yeah.
What is this whole thing with it was Chavo versus Rey Mysterio, loser leaves?
Yes. So I'm up to episode 8 or 9, something like that. But like I'm looking, of course I looked up on as I was reading, I was watching, or I was trying to get ready to watch Lucha. What got me into the groove was, of course, going to PWO, Pro Wrestling Opinion. Big shout out to them. Which in a few minutes,
by chance, were you in class when that happened?
Indeed, yes, I was, and I shouldn't have been doing that, but it's what it is. So got still wrestling fans.
Teachers don't know. Teachers think you're actually doing classwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but here's one thing. It's always you get to see the news. It's full in depth. It's very descriptive, and you basically it's vivid. So you kind of look at it and say, wow.
The Nick Lopez gives you a segment by segment breakdown.
Segment by segment. Yes. And it's kind of interesting because when you look at it, you're like, holy crap, this is how it's playing. And when you see it, it's like, holy crap.
You don't see any other website giving you that update, such as www.com or I don't even know what the fuck you want to call it. Impact.com, TNA.com, whatever the fuck.com, I don't give a shit.com.
Well, briefly, do you think TNA is going to close down? Well, what about TNA Total Nonstop Deletion? I haven't seen TNA.
I thought it was fucking amazing.
But I heard that King Maxwell had a debut, right? He had a debut match?
All right. Basically, I'm going to give you a rundown of King Maxwell's debut match.
Yep.
It was Matt Hardy comes out, talks, Rockstar Spud comes out.
Yep.
Cuts a bitch promo. He was doing nothing but bitching and moaning. That a 1-year-old gets more airtime than me, blah, blah, blah.
What the fuck?
So Matt Hardy's like, so you want to be King Maxwell's debut match? He said, yes. Mm-hmm. Senor Benjamin tasers Rockstar Spud. Maxwell gets the pin. That was the whole match.
Yeah, that's all?
Do you know who the actual competitor was supposed to be, though?
Who?
Disco Inferno.
Really?
Yes.
Disco Inferno. At total nonstop deletion? That's crazy. Because I know who else made an appearance, I think. There was an old tag team that made an appearance, I think.
In the words of Broken Matt Hardy, the express that rocks and rolls.
Oh, Rock and Roll Express, right. Yeah, I remember. I mean,
and if you remember, sorry to cut you off, but we have breaking news.
So I mean, here's one thing. Right now, pretty much it's the hour mark, right? So pretty much we're an hour into the podcast. So we're gonna do. I
don't mean to cut you off, but we have breaking news at RSN Wrestling Podcast.
Yes.
We have a guest.
Yes, and we'll come to that right after this brief message right here. So this is the hour mark. We're pretty much we're gonna take a break from here.
We're halfway.
We're pretty much just halfway, and then we're gonna go straight back into it. So just hold on to your seat, and you'll see more. Just one sec. We'll catch up with you in just about a couple more minutes after this brief sponsor, I'm guessing.
A little intermission.
Intermission, indeed. Welcome back to the RSN Wrestling Podcast, guys. This is the RSN Wrestling Podcast. This is the mastermind right here, Sal.
Hey, Sal.
We got the other line.
Sal, I have breaking news.
Yes.
We have a guest in this
indeed.
chat.
That's the big guy. And we got the Nick Lopez, owner, editor, and chief of Pro Wrestling Opinion. How you doing, Nick?
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? I'm doing okay. I just asked a question and answered it, so you know the night is pretty lit.
Yep.
Well,
indeed.
Sal, I don't mean to go back on the past, but did you tell Nick the news that happened December 17th, just to refresh the fans' memory also?
Yes. Well, here at RSN Wrestling Podcast, I'm sure for you, right, Pro Wrestling Opinion, you try to keep fans engaged, right? Right, Nick?
Nicholas?
Nick.
Repeat that for us one more time.
Well, here at the Artisan Wrestling Podcast, and I know probably you for PWO Pro Wrestling Opinion, we keep the fans engaged, right?
Of course.
Indeed, we do. And speaking of engagements, should I say, recently there was one that occurred, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you know who that was?
Who?
Someone from the Artisan Wrestling
Who?
Podcast. Who?
Who? Who?
None other than the big guy. I don't know if you know that.
Indeed, we do. Congrats.
Thank you, Nick.
You're very welcome.
So there's something right there. Well, that's one big thing. But like we said, we played the video. Of course, big things coming in 2017.
We're
A lot of
kicking
big
that
things.
motherfucking door in.
Indeed, we are. We also got PW, of course. Nick, could you just tell us about PW, what the status is right now, what's going on and everything?
Like, yeah, give us an update, like where you are.
Sure. So, if you're checking this out for the first time, my name is Nicholas Jason Lopez. I am the founder, editor-in-chief of ProWrestlingOpinion.com.
Sorry to cut you off, Nick, but you forgot one word before your name.
Oh yeah, the.
You're the Nicholas
right.
J. Lopez.
I'm
It's
the
no longer the CEO.
Nicholas
Now
Jason
it's
Lopez.
the Nick Lopez.
Can you get that changed on, like, legally?
I'm gonna look into it. If Ryback was able to do it, hell, the rest of humanity should be able to do it.
That's
You're
true.
just adding one word to your name. He just completely fucking dropped Ryan Reeves.
3 letters, not even.
Fuck Ryan Reeves.
He's a fucking bitch.
He's just crazy. But anyway, you're talking about PWO. Our Pro Wrestling Opinion.
I'm the big guy, not you, Ryback.
He's calling you out, Reeves.
Yep.
But anyway, Nick, you were telling us, right? I know. Well, here's one thing I can say before you go on. Of course, school's out. I'm looking for something to do, and of course, I can't. Of course, I'm trying to get back into Lucha. I'm like, oh man, do I really want to watch all those episodes? So what do? I go up to your site. I know you have articles up for Lucha Underground, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so of course, I'm looking on our site. I look up a couple episodes. I know you got it's very limited right now, but of course I'm looking through it and I'm seeing, there's a coverage there. So I'm looking at, of course, it's very, very descriptive, very vivid, and I'm kind of like, wow, I'm interested in watching it. So that actually got me straight back into watching season 3. But I mean, have you seen? Tell us the update, like what's going on with the rest of everything,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so far, I've been, as far as Lucha Season 3, it's been a pleasant surprise so far. I don't know if they're trying to cram too much into one season, because they're already doing Aztec Warfare, they're doing Grave Consequences, and now they're doing Believers Backlash, all of which, took place over Season 1, but, gradually laid out during the season.
Yep.
They're kind of just throwing, they're throwing a 90-mile-per-hour fastball at a wall, and a lot of it is sticking. I'll give it credit. Just that season 2 was so disappointing that it feels like it might be a little, too little, too late. But nonetheless, it's good to see that Lucha is getting back to its fundamentals of what it means to tell a story, and that's something that with their cinematic cutscenes and their in-ring style, that's something that put them on the map. And as long as they keep shelling out easy programming to watch and just get suspend your disbelief, it's easy to invest in. The hour's gonna fly right by. NXT might have a little rival again. But yeah, as far as the rest of the site, on my coverage, because I've had the unenviable task of watching every single pay-per-view, every single Raw, every single Impact, every single SmackDown, every single episode of West Coast Wrestling Connection. Whenever America's Most Liked Wrestling throws out a show, we throw it on there too.
Quick question. Sorry to cut you off. How often does America's Most Liked Wrestling have shows?
Every now and then.
Like if you had to give it like a quick breakdown, like how often would you say?
Yeah, sure. It happens. They have little spurts, so they'll put on their episodes maybe every 3 months or so. But their shows are
so
just
it's nothing like
long.
so it's nothing like WWE where it's a weekly thing.
No, definitely not. There was a time where they were throwing stuff out every week,
I
but
just wanted
now,
to I just wanted to X for fans that don't really know what America's Most Like Wrestling is and all that.
sure. It's based out of Salem, North Carolina. It's owned by Tracy Myers, who also owns a car company or a car dealership, something of that sort. He has really,
Something with automotives.
yeah, he has really dramatic car salesman commercials, which you should check out. They're very patriotic. But yeah,
For you
it's
fans that are very patriotic, he supports it, so that's always good.
yeah, why not? Why not?
America, fuck yeah.
Red, white, and blue them all over.
Mhm.
Fuck
But
'em.
yeah, it's a good idea of what's happening in the Southern Territories. You got some talent like King Shane Williams, who a lot of people compare to Jerry Lawler in his heyday. He's got that kind of old school Southern, real honorable, gimmick. He's really killing it. You got the Greek god Papillon. He comes from the Bronx, or Queens, somewhere in New York City, the metro area. He's rough and tough. He'll tell you how it is. He's one of the best heels right now. Then you got other talent like Zane Dawson. You got the Georgia South Boys, the Geordie Bulldogs. One of the best tag teams on the indie scene right now, in the Heat Seekers. They're really, if you were to think of the vaudevillains,
I was about to ask you, can you compare it to someone that the fans would know? But
yeah,
what
I would say
villains? You said perfect.
I would say the vaudevillains. Just strip the mustache and the 1920s gimmick, and just make them really rough and tough.
Are they like up to date now?
And who's up to date?
The team you just said.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like 2016-ish.
Yeah, definitely 2016-ish. Everybody I mentioned is there. So yeah, it's the best of what North Carolina has to offer. It does have some notable talent. Cedric Alexander had a few matches down there earlier in the year. We got some reviews
My
up
boy
there.
Cedric.
Yeah, and got some reviews up there on the site. Also got other talent. I believe who else was on there? There were a few other notable names too. The Wolves have been on there. A lot of talent spread out. EC3 was on an episode. So it's America's Most Like Wrestling.
So they actually had like
You
names.
can check out their YouTube channel. They have 30-minute TV shows, which we throw up some reviews.
So you basically like that. That's the part you love. That's a short show.
Yeah, essentially. And then for the other side of the spectrum, for many indie fans, we also the West Coast Wrestling Connection. Now they're based out of Oregon, and they had talent like Caleb Conley. They got Gangrel. He's in
Wow,
there. He's in
that's a
their
name.
main event scene. He's
That's
still
a name
wrestling,
drop.
believe it or not. You got people like Eric Wright. He's got a really awesome handlebar mustache. Kind of reminds me of Jack Gallagher if you were to compare him to a WWE talent. You also got Ethan HD, who's also been known in Extreme Canadian Championship Wrestling. He's also been on Paragon Pro Wrestling. Got a lot of talent from West Coast Wrestling Connection who are also involved in Paragon. So it's good to see, their sibling promotions. So it's good to see, everybody kind of getting exposure that way. And then you got just a lot of up and coming, local talent that are, slowly making waves, and maybe 2017 will be the year they break out.
Nick, another question about them. Do they have homegrown talent?
They do.
They have a lot of homegrown talent? Because, a lot of wrestling fans love that.
Oh, yeah. A lot of WCWC talent come from the Grapplers Academy. And, it's sort of like a developmental territory for them. And then
Like, how ROH has the dojo?
Yep. And I'll give credit where credit's due. WCWC puts out a pretty good show every week. It's on at Saturdays at 11 o'clock on WPDX in Oregon. And
we don't get that over here in New York,
we
right?
don't get that over here, but we do get YouTube. And
And
those
Pro Wrestling
episodes that
Opinion.
air on Saturday nights
And we also get
afternoons.
ProWrestlingOpinion.com.
Yeah, and if you check out our reviews, we got everything from the very beginning of January all the way up till the very start of November. So we got a whole bunch of WCWC episodes on there. We're all about the independents.
We love us. We at the RSN Wrestling Podcast, we love independence.
We even got Ring of Honor up on there. Obviously, a lot of WWE talent has come from Ring of Honor, so it's always something to keep an eye out on.
Nick, let me ask you, how are you doing all this?
With a
lot of alcohol.
And a dream.
A lot of alcohol has been in this.
A lot of alcohol.
Binging.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, I know it's a lot of stuff. Plus, with WWE, they're trying to do all these WWE Network events every other week.
Oh, Nick's gonna hate it after Royal Rumble. Like not even after Royal Rumble, before that, because they have NXT takeovers, the main event, like the actual show. Then they got Raw, SmackDown,
the annual CWC. NXT. Yeah, and also, I mean,
here's what Live.
Nick, I don't know if you heard about this new tournament that came up.
Yeah, the I believe
UK.
for the United Kingdom championship or something of that sort.
Yeah. I mean, well, I know that you're not that. I mean, we don't want to obviously spoil anything with you because obviously in the shootout edition, we're talking about pretty much everything from the past month, I'd say.
I'm actually kind of up to date. Just certain things I haven't seen or avoided, but I know all the big stuff.
So you basically caught like the Facebook updates and all that shit.
Yeah, I'm all for Neville. I really hope Owens doesn't lose his title at Royal Rumble to Reigns. That would really kill his momentum. I'm expecting an Owens Jericho feud for Mania. And as far as the tag titles, I'm still not completely sold on Cesaro and Sheamus, but hopefully they don't trade them around like Sasha and Charlotte did.
Well, let me ask you this then. What do you think? What do you guys think about the new Raw tag titles?
Because they changed the belts itself too.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that.
Crazy. I'm not crazy about it. I think that was the one. That was the one instance besides the WWE World Heavyweight Championship that kind of stuck back to.
Well, I always get confused. Which belts. One is the World Heavyweight? That's the Raw title, right?
That's the one on SmackDown.
Oh, well, they changed that name, too.
Yeah, now it's the WWE title.
Now it's just the WWE title.
Well, just call it the SmackDown Championship.
I actually am for that because they have the SmackDown Tag Team titles, the SmackDown Women's title.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's just uniformity. I guess they want to make sure that both shows are even, so they just want to say, like how it was in the Ruthless Aggression Hour. Once World, once the WWE. And then, they're like, oh, WWE is the world. And then now I think the same thing with the Universal and the world, the WWE title. It's like, oh, this is WWE. Oh, that's the universe. Oh, well, they're the same thing. It's like, I mean, come on. It's like, I think it's all just a game of semantics. It's like, why not just have a champion and a champion? That's it. Makes sense, But, again, that's just WWE, guys. But, I mean, pretty much we got, I'd say, what? About the last half of 30 minutes. I mean, Nick, do you have to go somewhere or?
No, I'm here.
Good. All right, so that's good. So this is basically RSN right here. We got the whole RSN podcast family right here. That's good. So what I want to talk about. First time in a while. Yeah, so it's been a big while too. It's been a long time. But basically what I want to do is I want to try to spend this time right here to talk about specifically predictions for the Royal Rumble. So I think there's a lot we could talk about from the Royal Rumble. There's so many possibilities that they can go. But I mean, of course, I know Nick. You talked about you want to see the Owens and Jericho feud. You want to see, Seth and Triple H probably. You probably want to see that. But what about Goldberg and Brock Lesnar? What do you guys think about that?
I'm a little bit, at least Because it's supposed to be a rivalry, right? But it's
Yeah.
2-0 Goldberg, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So really, what's the big idea of a third match? What is that gonna do? Are they gonna somehow have a best of 5 series? I don't know if I could sit through all that, honestly.
I don't think anyone can.
I think it's just outdated. It's just, to the point where it's like, it's kind of like a Batista situation. For years, people have been asking for it, but then it died down. People said, all right, you know what, we probably don't need it. And now, same thing. People are chanting Goldberg, but it doesn't mean we want to see Goldberg and Lesnar again.
For the 37th time.
Yeah, for the 37th time. But I think it seems like they're kind of leaning towards having that. They want to have that at WrestleMania, I think. I'd say that's going to go as far as WrestleMania because, one, I guess in their mind is thinking it's going to draw money. Because obviously, he had that upset victory. Goldberg had upset victory against Brock. Now it's like, okay, that leaves room for, something's going to happen maybe at Royal Rumble. And, I mean, being the fact that they're both in the Royal Rumble match, that can lead to a lot of things. I mean, what I've been hearing is that supposedly either Goldberg or Brock Lesnar will win the Royal Rumble.
No.
What do you guys think about that?
No.
I think it's the one in. I just hope Reigns doesn't win because
Man, thank God. I hope. No, it's crazy. Because supposedly right now
we don't really need to see that.
To
But
be
then
honest,
Lesnar Goldberg, I won't be a fan either because.
To be honest, I want bring in someone worth winning.
like Dean Ambrose, let's say. What do you guys think about that?
I'll take Ambrose. Even though he doesn't have to win it because he gets his rematch, Finn Balor. To be honest, I'll take fucking Ty Dillinger winning over Goldberg or Lesnar.
Yeah.
What about Eva Marie?
Okay, Nick, you should get kicked out of the podcast right now for that.
Someone had to say it.
Well, I heard. What I'm hearing is Kevin Dunn's gonna enter as a surprise entrant.
Sal, you can leave too.
Well, anyway, I mean, how about this then? Let's think about. Okay, so obviously, I mean, the smart decision would be not to have Goldberg and Lesnar headlining Royal Rumble and possibly winning. One of them having winning. Do you see them both coming in as the final four?
It depends because, like I said before, the source I have said that that's going to be entries 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
Because in previous years they had things like they had Taker versus Taker and HBK start out the Royal Rumble, and that was a pretty dope match. I mean, it was like
that was awesome.
Yeah,
it started out, it was pretty good, and it built up to a feud, so that made sense too. But I mean, what about so of course right now.
When Roman entered number 1 last year, how far did he go? He was like last 8 or something, right?
You mean 2015 or 2016?
When he had to enter at number 1 to defend his title.
I think he was at the final.
He was in the final 5 or something, I think.
Yeah, but the reason why was because that the League of Nations supposedly took him out under the rope, smartly, and I guess they put him to a table, and I was like, oh, he's out of the Rumble. He's injured, but he didn't get taken out over the top rope.
But then he came back, and Triple H eliminated him.
Yep.
Which I thought was genius.
Yep. You really think that's genius, though? I mean, it's like, come on. To
have Triple H enter the Rumble. I thought that was genius.
Yeah, I think that was. I mean, it was a shock though when you saw him. It was like, holy crap!
I'm not gonna lie. I marked out.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit! The King of Kings is back.
Yep, and it was like, okay, if this guy wins, that's gonna be dope because he'd be a 2-time champ, a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. And he did. It was like, holy shit!
All right, this is a cheap plug. I don't care. We have to plug the site. Where can you read about the 2015 Royal Rumble?
There's only one site I can think of.
And we have the guy. We have the guy who runs the site.
The Nick Lopez, indeed.
Hey, you could also throw that one in too. The guy that runs the site, like the champ that runs the camp, the face that runs the place.
That doesn't rhyme. Hold on. There.
You're gonna have to think of something.
Fight Gate, height, Jite, kite, might,
Got to thinking of it. Yeah,
night.
the guy that
The
runs the
knight
site.
that
No,
runs the site.
There you go.
the knight that runs the site.
I like
I
it.
like that. That's
Trademark that shit too.
Yeah,
It'll
he
work.
definitely should. Some other buck toothless motherfucker takes it. Crazy.
Fuck Kevin Dunn.
Fuck Kevin Dunn. I mean, it's just like, well, how about this then? From what I'm hearing, they want to build Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin. They want them to be in the Final Four. What do you guys think about their progress?
I was gonna say, Nick, do you like that idea?
I don't think it's the right time for either guy to win the Rumble, but I think it's a good time to have them really kick ass and dominate in a Rumble. The only thing that sucks is that every time a guy eliminates a lot of guys, they end up getting compared to Roman Reigns in 2014 and
I was gonna say, did he break
Kane
the
in 10.
record?
Yeah, unfortunately, he did break the record.
Yep.
Which was held by Kane previously.
Yep.
You know he's already halfway for the most eliminations ever because of that one Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
And
of course. After they do that, and every Rumble they're out there, every time they're gonna mention Kane, of course they're gonna do it again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing, here's the thing. That was in, I think, 2014, right? Roman did that.
Yeah.
When he broke the single record,
when
yes.
people actually wanted him to win the Rumble.
Yeah, people actually wanted him to win that Rumble, and instead, when he's the one, it was like, "Hold, fuck him." But that, I mean, they're trying to go back to that. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's just like, come on, you really can't have it. If they had Roman Reigns win the Rumble again, it's just frustrating. It's like, okay, we know what's gonna happen. Then we pretty much know what's gonna happen. They're pretty much gonna have him be the Golden Boy. WrestleMania 33, he walks out the champ. That's it. It's like, okay,
I really don't want him to win the title.
It would be cool. It would be cool.
I mean, look at the catastrophe of WrestleMania 32. He headlined WrestleMania. The crowd got muted many times.
Oh, multiple times, like every other minute.
People were chanting NXT, NXT. It was basically a fucking. It was like a random indie show in a high school gym. Pretty much that's all it was.
Well, everyone could agree with this. All three of us probably do. For the past couple takeovers, they have been better than the actual pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, well, that brings us to.
And that point was true in 2015.
What'd you say?
That was true even last year. I mean, they just eclipsed the regular show.
Yeah.
It's not as long. It's just straight out wrestling.
It's like
no
5
BS,
hours.
No nothing.
NXT takeover is 5 hours shorter than the actual pay-per-view.
And look how much better it is.
Yeah, and look how much development they do.
What's the average time of a WWE pay-per-view now?
4
At
hours.
least 5 hours?
4 or 5 hours, yeah.
I think they should just get rid of the pre-show. The pre-show, there's no point. It's just like, come on.
What's the point of having a 2-hour friggin' pre-show?
Yeah,
or they just highlight the 4-hour show, and then you need three undercard matches because it can't fit on the actual show.
It's bullcrap. It's just come on.
And then you get the post-show.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, just
watch the post show. But now they embedded it into the actual broadcast, so now there's no escape.
Yep. And it's like, okay, you're trapped to watch it. It's like, what do we do? We can't do nothing. But I mean, what about let's say, for example, well, of course, this year's Royal Rumble is going to be taking place at the Alamo Dome. So
hasn't been done in like what 20-something years.
And I think it's the 25th year of the Royal Rumble, right? So it's like a record, I think, a 20th year.
Stone Cold returns and wins.
Yep.
HBK.
That's supposedly HBK. And here's
between the two of them, HBK looks more in shape to actually wrestle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, here's one thing. There was a graphic, I think, online. I think you shared it. It was HBK and AJ Styles. AJ Styles posted that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of an interesting sight, right? See that.
It would actually be cool if HBK came back and kind of reprised his feud with Jericho.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
10 years later.
Mm-hmm. Just have a face-off. Like, that would be that's it. It's like, oh, my God, Because pretty much the Royal Rumble is like the time where people do the 5-minute face-off. And it's like, okay, crowd marks out, like, holy shit, this is going to happen. And then, it happens.
But
then you also get the surprises like AJ Styles this year in the Rumble.
Yep. And I mean, I think we're going one step ahead. We're having our year-end and basically the RSN Awards, the Slammies, kind of like our Slammies, where we go through the whole year. The Slam-a-Lammies. I'm about to call that right there.
Like going back to what I said, you know what pissed me off since
Mhm.
the AJ surprise entry?
Yep.
Why did they not show the crowd reaction? They fucking focused on Roman Reigns.
You know why? Because Kevin
Because
Dunn,
he has to look strong.
he has to look strong indeed, and it's like, come on.
How dare AJ Styles debut? We can't do that.
Yeah.
How dare you
We
take
can't
away
have-
Roman Reigns' moment?
We can't have this guy that job to Hulk Hogan or some other big name that's been established for like 20 years and hasn't has done drugs and all that and is a name in the media. Get his spotlight taken by this new youngcomer that has taken the hearts of the whole wrestling family and everything like that. All those internet marks. That's basically Kevin Dunn's thinking, but fuck him. Fuck that Beaver Tuck, tooth looking motherfucker.
Fuck Kevin Dunn. Fuck Vince McMahon. Fuck Eva Marie. Fuck Jim Cornette.
We can go a whole tirade. I mean,
Did we?
In the ass.
Wait, Sal.
Yep.
Did we say we're gonna make a Hall of Fame entry?
Oh yes, we're gonna make our Hall of
The Hall of Shame.
Hall of Shame entry. Yes.
Who is it today? I think Nick should induct someone today.
Well, we should think of a name. I mean, well, here's the thing. We had what was it in the previous? Kevin Dunn. He's like the highlight. We got Eva Marie.
He's the headliner.
Yep, Roman Reigns. And we still need some more names. So
Nick, since this is your first show in a while, you get the privilege of inducting someone. Any company.
basically, someone that categorizes the epitome of a I'd say what? What should I say?
It's the Hall of Lame.
A Hall of Lame, yeah. Basically, someone that just doesn't have a vision for the future. Someone that just doesn't see what the business is about. That isn't in touch with the fan of a wrestling fan today, or entertainment today. That can't book. That has all kind of blunders. That always fucks up. That does something wrong all the time.
Botch.
Or botch, yeah.
You get to induct someone.
I picked Dana Brooke.
Okay. I like
Ooh,
it.
that's a bombshell. I know, Rich, you're mad about that.
Not really.
You gotta be mad about that.
Not really, because at one point I actually did think she was going to do something, but no.
What has she really done on Raw?
Her highlight was being the nurse for the Bullet Club in that segment.
And then she also had that moment where she attacked Bailey from behind, and I remember the segment more because the inflatable tube man deflated.
Yeah. The wacky waving inflatable arm flannel tube man.
Yep.
That's actually a very good induction.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing. Dana Brooke, I think that just like any other NXT star that we've been talking about, Tyler Breeze, Apollo Crews, pretty much any NXT star that's been brought out from NXT to the system to basically the main roster and has gone down spiral path down.
Can we add one more name to that list of NXT people?
Who else?
As much as it hurts me to say this, Sami Zayn.
In a sense, yeah.
He hasn't been used.
I can't live with that.
Yeah.
You can?
I think Neville would have gone on that list had it not been for his heel turn.
Oh, that was the best thing of his career.
He needed it. He's a much better heel.
Yeah, and I think it's a pretty good role that they have for him to be in the in the cruiserweight division and doing that.
It works for him.
Yep, that's true.
And just throwing this out there, when he came back, he looked fucking huge.
Yeah.
He looked much bigger than he ever did, even as Pac.
He's been more athletic too. I think that's been he's been more and more faster, more and more what should I say, more powerful. Everything, it's crazy. But this guy's like a specimen.
I wouldn't put Zayn on there though, because at least he's like attempting something with Strowman. You know what would be really awesome if Owens stays Universal Champion and like Owens eliminates Braun Strowman to win the Rumble.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, well, here's one thing too. It seems like they're kind of leaning towards having Sami Zayn go up this uphill path against Braun. Basically, to build up Braun as a bad guy and have Sami be the the good guy that basically the underdog from the underground. That's basically what his gimmick is, and they're trying to make him this guy. But then at the same time, it seems like they're kind of teasing for something. Like it's kind of like they're pushing for next year to have Sami Zayn get the push, and possibly have Owens versus Zayn feud. What do you guys think about that?
Well, they kind of did it this year, but it didn't really. I mean, they had some really really good matches, and in-ring chemistry is always going to win out above all. But I
Right.
wish
Because
that I
your
wish there was
best
really
friend,
more of a
because what
quote
is it? Your
unquote
best friend always
feud
makes your
there.
best enemy.
Yeah, exactly. I just wish it felt more like a blood feud. Like it took maybe the match from not Payback, but yeah, maybe Payback or Battleground. Yeah, the match by Battleground. It felt like it what it needed to be as a feud. But this is the thing about Sami Zayn that really baffles me. Like the guy has been in at least maybe 3 or 4 match of the year contenders
All in
for this
NXT.
year alone, and he's not really at the top of the main event scene. There's no reason why he shouldn't be in the Universal title picture, unless they're doing it to stay away from Owens and Zayn again, which makes me think maybe they're saving it for Mania.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, well, here's one thing. I think. Well, here's the thing.
They would have done
WWE
Owens and Reigns right. They would have done Owens and Reigns at Mania, not right now.
Yeah, I mean that's something. I mean, of course they're trying to build Roman as the guy, but I think it's just like they have to give up now. It's like this guy, the crowd isn't giving the
He's
reaction.
not. He's not over with the fans.
You know, with the
The
fans. The
funny
only way I
thing,
think he can.
yeah, the funny thing is they could have turned him heel like 6 months ago, and he could have just gotten fans to cheer for him naturally through that persona, and
They
then
had so
through.
many chances. They had so many chances to make this guy heel. It's been like with the same thing with Cena. I mean, talking about Cena, same thing. They had so many opportunities to do this, but it totally didn't work. I mean, I don't know if I mean, Rich, I know you probably seen it, but I don't think Nick you've seen it. He came back I think on SmackDown recently, cut a
I heard
promo.
about it.
Yeah. And I won't spoil the details, but when he made that promo, I think it kind of stuck out to me. It's like, wow, maybe this is something that we should look into. Like, it's like, wow, maybe there's some investing into this guy now. But it's like, okay, like, is he turning over to a new leaf? Something like that. But what are your thoughts on that, Rich?
I really thought that it was going to be a heel turn.
Yeah,
To
for a
be
second I thought the same
100%
thing.
honest.
Yeah, I thought the same, but then it was like, I mean, it was still an interesting promo, no doubt. It was a promo that he didn't cut before, so it was he never cut that before. It kind of felt like it was something organic. It wasn't something like written off a piece of paper by Kevin Dunn. It seems like he just took it, ripped it in his face, and said, "Do something now." And it's like it's interesting. I mean, I highly suggest you look it out. But of course, so let's finish up with this then. Surprise entrance. Who do you think is gonna make a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble this year?
Well, it's hard to say because a lot of the surprise entries have been tweeted out by everyone.
Yeah. This is probably the
Maybe
only year
Samoa
where
Joe.
What are you saying,
definitely,
Nick?
I vote Samoa Joe.
definitely. I think they need to bring him as soon as possible.
Ty Dillinger.
Hi. Interesting. You guys just stole the words from my mouth. It's crazy.
But make it even better if he comes in at number 10. The perfect 10 at number 10.
That would be the icing on the cake. No lie, it would. I'm saying probably Kurt Angle. Because like I
Shelton
said
Benjamin.
before,
Shelton Benjamin. That's not a bad pick.
I'm trying to think of people who are on the shelf right now.
Ricochet.
That
I was gonna say Ricochet.
Even though he's not on the shelf, but coming from another company, Ricochet.
Finn Balor.
I still think it's a little too soon.
Well, I said he's ahead of schedule. I think he's
They say he's
ready.
way ahead of schedule.
It would be cool if Austin Aries came up.
Oh hell yeah! I
Oh
mean,
my God, the greatest man who ever lived.
when he showed up on Raw, that just got me marking out. I was like, holy shit! The former TNA World Champion is on Raw. That's surreal. I mean, you have to actually think about it for a second. We're like, holy shit! Austin Aries is on Raw. It was like, holy crap!
I know this is way out of the blue. That's never going to happen. Cody Rhodes.
Well, here's one that I say: Broken Matt Hardy.
Very good chance.
Wouldn't that be surreal though? Like if you saw Broken Matt Hardy come up on WWE television.
No, it'd be awesome, but then it'd be sad because then I would have a reason to watch TNA.
That is true.
That's right. Yeah.
Even if it's like a one night thing.
Well, I mean, they announced the live events, right, for 2017. So that proves maybe they're doing something right. Plus, they're back on pay-per-view, so that's something.
That's true.
Trying to think who else. Gilbert.
Just for a gimmick, yeah, I think that could happen. Because they had Boogeyman, they had...
Ralphus.
What did you say, Nick?
Ralphus.
Ralphus?
Rufus?
Not Jericho's old security guard
Yeah, Rufus.
from WCW.
Rufus.
That would be funny.
That would, yeah.
And he
Or how about...
them interact.
And he wins it.
Well, they said old names, right? So how about Edge?
Nah, he can never fight again, he said.
Christian would be interesting.
Ed said he can never fight again, which is very sad.
Well, what about Daniel Bryan? For rumors, months and months, they kept saying it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. He's gonna come back.
But I think he's in the same situation as Edge.
One wrong move could make him paralyzed.
Yeah, that's true.
Charlie Haas.
That'd be interesting.
Rob Conway.
Not interesting.
No.
Was it Rob Conway? Former NWA champ.
Luther
Rob
Reigns.
Conway. But he left on really, really bad terms. Rob Conway.
Really? Oh, sorry.
You think they'll bring back Luther Reigns as Roman Reigns' lost brother?
You know
that was
who?
Funny.
You know who? The man who never officially got eliminated. Maven.
Curtis Axel.
Maven, yeah.
Maven never got eliminated. Comes back to defend his title against
Curtis Axel
as the longest reigning Royal Rumble entry.
That's true. Well, how about just the DNA that was formerly of TNA, Matt Morgan?
He has actually been in talks from what I hear.
It's crazy. Like, this guy, he's taking time off. Why not have him come back? Yeah.
Nakamura.
What about Nia Jax or Awesome Kong?
Nakamura, Royal Rumble surprise entry.
Bobby Roode.
Nah.
I would say yes,
first.
but I think he's going to be in NXT for maybe a good portion of the first half of 2017.
Well, I'm hearing Vince wants Nakamura to come out to WrestleMania. He wants him to actually come in soon.
Triple H said, "Don't worry, fans. He will make his debut on the main roster."
What about Kota Ibushi? I think CWC. They're probably gonna have some people show up there.
Maybe he didn't sign with WWE though.
He said he's getting paid. What did he say? By performance. He said.
Yeah.
He's on like
I think that
performance by performance payment. He said, or some shit.
Yeah, well, here's one thing. He's like a star in Japan. I think he said in a previous interview he wants to be a star in Japan first, and then go on and do other stuff. He wants to make his name.
He already has. He already has a big name as it is. So.
What about this celebrity names? Shaquille O'Neal.
Nah, he's gonna be at Mania.
It might. Yeah. Well, what about Conor McGregor?
Mania.
Imagine if he comes in as a Royal Rumble, that'll be like, holy crap, that's crazy. This guy's gonna come in, get his ass kicked, or he's gonna kick other people's asses, and then like, holy shit, it's basically Brawl for all over again.
Oh man, why'd you bring up that name? Brawl for all. That was horrible.
For that, JBL should be put into the Hall of Blame.
Brawl.
Why don't we put Bart Gunn in then? Because he lives for the fucking Brawl for all.
Why don't we put Marty Jannetty?
Oh.
Just for the hell of it. Marty Jannetty and HBK reunite.
But in all honesty, I want all three of us to make one selection for a surprise entry, though. Like a serious selection. Nick, who is your selection?
In terms of like regular people or?
Just a regular surprise entry in the Royal Rumble.
I was gonna say Shelton.
Shelton's your pick.
Yeah.
Nick, Sal.
I was hoping it's gonna be just like this year, how it was with AJ Styles coming in, an indie star coming straight to the main roster, making his debut.
Cool.
I'm thinking Ricochet.
Okay. Mine. MVP.
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 That might happen.
Nick, what do you say?
I like that.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Not with
I think that they can.
not with his old gimmick though.
Well, this is like the biggest Royal Rumble ever, right? So of course they're gonna try to get the biggest names that they can. HBK, Stone Cold for sure, I think are on the top of that list. Whether
I don't
Stone
know
Cold
if
just,
I don't know if they're gonna perform though. I think they might just show up.
I think they're gonna perform because I think Vince wants these people to show up and everything, and he's willing to pay them good money because of course it's gonna be the Alamo Dome, so why not? And think about it, Alamo Dome can only fit a certain amount of people, right? It's not that big.
I don't know offhand. I know it's not like a oh my god amount.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's one thing.
It's a decent amount.
The Alamo Dome.
It's a decent size.
Let me double check.
I think it was about 70,000.
78,000.
60, 70,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
So that's like that's like WCW Starcade type capacity. Let's see, 72,000. That's crazy.
That's a big ass number.
Go look it up. It was a pretty big number.
What is it? Alamo Dome, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because WWE had their
I will look it
97
up.
Royal Rumble there. And it's kind of ironic because they were in
65,000
financially. I was thinking
it's
like
65,000 to 72,000. It says.
I was thinking maybe their attendance record at the Royal Rumble is what kept them afloat financially.
Were they public at that time? They weren't public, I think, right? They weren't public in 1998.
No.
So they probably. It's pretty interesting.
The official number, 75,000.
That's a lot of people.
But you know WWE, they're gonna boost up the number somehow, so they're gonna say 80,000.
Yeah.
You
Probably can fit a lot more.
Because you know what they said with WrestleMania.
Yeah.
101,000, but it was actually like 94,000.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing too. What's it called? There hasn't. I think what the biggest event so far, in all wrestling history, North Korea. Collision in North Korea. WCW pay-per-view. I think over 120,000 people, something like that.
Was that the real number?
I think something like that. Yeah, it's a pretty big number. I think because what happened was, but the story is that the North Korean government forced these people to show up at that event because Antonio Inoki was showing up too. So they're like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go and do that too. They definitely wanted to check that out.
The first day, 165,000. Day 2, 190,000 for Collision in Korea.
Really?
Where do you fit all those people?
It was
like a fire hazard.
It was the Mayday Stadium, which capacity is 114,000.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's crazy. So that's a lot. I mean, that's double the number that they have probably in like, you know, a regular WrestleMania, like for example the one that recently happened, 32. But what about like New Japan Pro Wrestling, the Wrestle Kingdom, that's in the Wrestle Dome, right?
I believe so, yeah.
How many does that seat?
Not too sure, but I know it's
I will look it up now.
It's a really big
Dome,
number.
let's see. Tokyo Dome could fit, let's say 42 to 55,000.
It's a lot of people still.
I thought Tokyo
I'm
Dome.
looking it up now. The Tokyo Dome fits 42,000 to 55,000 people.
That's interesting. So Tokyo Dome has less, I mean, compared to WWE. That's pretty interesting because I know that.
But yet they still pull more fans.
Yeah, I always thought that Tokyo Dome would do more than WWE because, of course, they have like the biggest stadiums in Japan, and there's no fire hazard and like that, or there's like a limit of that. It's not that much, but like here, it's like, you know, there's always a restriction. You can't have that many people, et cetera, et cetera. We'll have to see. But well, where's WrestleMania gonna be? WrestleMania 33 is gonna be in in Orlando, right?
Yeah, it's going to Orlando.
The Citrus Bowl, or?
I'm not too sure.
What is it?
We'll find out soon.
What'd you say,
Oh,
Sal?
it's gonna be announced. Where is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Citrus Bowl again?
It is gonna be Camping World Stadium in Orlando,
Camping World Stadium.
which fits a
70,000.
really, really small amount.
So the same thing as the Alamo Dome. But I think they can
65
extend that. They can make it more.
65,000.
Yeah, they can make it more though, I think. Because if you look at where was WrestleMania 32? 32 was in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboy Stadium,
I
right?
had a very important envelope on the table.
80,000. So
How much
that
you want for
AT&T
that
Stadium was 80,000 capacity. This is 70,000 capacity. Do you think they're gonna finish up that record and make it even more?
Eventually they'll do it.
What I'm waiting for is an international WrestleMania beyond North America.
They did Canada.
They did Canada, yeah, but I mean outside North America, that'd be pretty dope. Because I think once they go out of once they go international, that's it. They're 100% full on locked to doing
Well,
more.
I don't know if they could. I don't know if they could do England. Well, they did SummerSlam in England, but I don't know if they could do Mania there because of all the time constraints and differences and all that.
Yeah.
Don't
I know
forget,
Japan
the
already
biggest
has a
show
lot
of
of.
the year, so they had the most eyes, on the
Yeah.
product at that time, and a lot of it just comes from North America.
Right. I guess they're still trying to look for more and more. We'll have to see what they can do.
Why would you put my food in the fridge?
We'll have to see what we can do. But pretty much, this is the Arsenal Wrestling Podcast. We talked pretty much about we pretty much talked about
The Rumble, that's real.
Yeah, about the Royal Rumble and all that stuff. We did a whole spick about what's going on, everything like that. Again, this is the Arsenal Wrestling Podcast. This is the Mastermind Sal. We got the big guy, Rich, and we got. Should we say the Nick Lopez, or should we say the knight that runs the site?
I'm the knight that runs the site.
The night that runs the site.
The knight that runs the site.
It just works. It just works. And speaking of, a cheap plug, just saying. ProWrestlingOpinion.com if you haven't already, and if Rich and Sal have mentioned it countless times, you should really check it out because they know their stuff.
I think you should check it out.
You should also check out their logo. The logos are coming up, right?
We have a new logo for PWO and a new logo for RSN.
You'll be having some new stuff rolling out, articles, reviews.
2017 is going to be a big year for both of us, the website and the show.
Yep.
It will.
So
like
we're still getting through. Stay tuned for our Survivor Series coverage. Takeover Toronto, got that coming up. Final Battle, TLC, Roadblock. Still reviews to keep an eye out for. Everything that happened in this 2016. Before that, we got all the pay-per-view reviews up there. WrestleMania, SummerSlam, got Royal Rumble, Fastlane, the first Roadblock, Extreme Rules, Payback, Clash of Champions, No Mercy,
are you
Backlash.
Everything basically A to Z. I mean, what about are you gonna be doing anything for the year? Like you recapping the year? I mean, of course, we're doing the year-end review podcast, basically our Slammies or Slamalamies, as you called it.
Yeah, we'll be doing something to wrap up 2016 once they get to the last day. Might bring it out in late January, early February, but keep an eye out. We're gonna have a worst 10 of 2016 list and a top 20 of 2016.
For the worst 10, there's going to be a lot of Eva Marie on the list, right?
And Kevin Dunn.
That right there, you could just get like a fucking top 100 for both of them.
Yep, there'll be something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, we'll have to see from there. But also, we probably can confirm this. Next month, we're gonna have our year-end in review podcast, basically Slamalamies.
What happened?
What do you guys think? Next year we're gonna next month, should I say? The Slammy, basically our Slammies are the end of the year review podcast that we have.
Yeah, the reason why we're doing it.
That could work.
The reason why is so Nick could catch up to date.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Nick is unfortunate we gotta slowly get into
another
it.
piece a day. So.
Because just say there's a match
keep an eye out.
just say there's a
There's
match
always
that's like a
good stuff
top
on the site.
10, like happen right now. Just say Nick won't know about it, so that's basically a spoiler for him. So might as well do it on a time when he ends 2016.
Yeah, and like I said, so we have so many categories. We'll be talking more about that on the site, on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, everything like that.
Botch of the year, anything Eva Marie.
Or anything Vince McMahon. Stay tuned for that. Tag team of the year, breakout star of the year, superstar of the year, match of the year, rivalry of the year, everything. Pretty much, you name it, we'll talk about it. But again, we'll see you guys out. This is the Arson Wrestling Cast. More to come in 2017.
See you guys.
Later.
Big Guy and Nick Lopez. We'll see you guys out.
See you guys.